creating some heart space. So I'm going to create some heart space for you today and say, how are you doing? And I want you to type it in the comments and maybe put your arms over your head and take a couple deep breaths so we can, get involved in the next training, the next webinar, the next Facebook Live, the next blog post, the next client. And how often are we able to kind of stop and just check in for a couple seconds? And so one of the things that I had proposed to one of my clients earlier this week was, is it possible, and I had put it out in the Starfish email, there's so many people doing so many amazing things, but is there a chance for us to be able to do more? And are we focused on the right areas? And being able to really say, here is where I'm going to put my energy, and here is where I'm going to make the most difference. And here's what I want to stand for. Here's my purpose. It's in alignment with my passion, so that when we're waking up each and every day, it's almost like what we're doing is adding to our energy reserves and our energy resources and our energy stores rather than taking away from them. And I think I've found that, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of opportunities that you can help. And then there's a lot of opportunities or a lot of things that you're aware of. But being able to focus on those areas that you're making the most impact in, the most difference in, and asking yourself how you can do more in those areas rather than just do more, as far as like in a blanketed, I'm going to do all of the things, with having individuals that, so being able to have individuals that are just focused on doing as much as possible versus doing the most beneficial thing possible. So I want to ask you, so like, what's the most beneficial thing? So I was this weekend, it was a weird weekend. I know it was Father's Day if you're watching this live, and I had to ask myself the question of, I have the opportunity to make something right, to wrong an injustice, to be able to, kind of like fight the good fight. But that's going to distract me from working on my TED Talk, from working with my clients. It's like an energy vampire. And at the end of the day, like, whether I'm right or wrong, I know I'm right. And so like, I don't need the external validation. And I made the parallel, I wrote a blog about it, and I made the parallel of like with my service animal life. There are restaurants that discriminate all the time. There's movie theaters. We have issues, at larger events sometimes. And so in that moment, is it the energy that I want to pour into being able to fight for that table at that restaurant? Or do I just want to go someplace where my energy is welcome and my energy and my family are received? And so where can you be doing more, and where can you have more of an impact in our community, whether it's online or it's in person? Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it is creating an ebook. Maybe it's just putting something on your webpage that is a video of you talking about the things that mean the most to you and will connect the most with your community. So for me, being as authentic as possible, sitting on the floor in my guest bedroom, normally Guinness would be behind me. And instead of like at my desk, to just be authentic and be able to say like, this gives me energy. Sitting at my desk in front of a computer all day long does not give me energy, but it does give me energy to connect with you guys. When I see your comments, when I see your reactions to the Starfish stories, and if you have not connected with the Starfish stories, leave it in the comments and I'll make sure that you get connected with the Starfish stories. They're emails that go out on a weekly basis that just have advice, tips, but mostly a message that you're not alone, and it's from your tribe, it's to your tribe. And a lot of the times it has videos from other individuals, and as well as stories about my journey in this entrepreneurial world and my journey as a work-at-home mom, all of these kinds of things. And so being able to, how do we stay connected? And so that's my ask for you is, I think that I could chase my Starfish People Down on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. But I think being able to meet you where you're most comfortable and where we make the most impact, like, is it reading the emails? Is it watching these videos? Is it in individual conversations that you can book on my calendar? And so that's where it's like, I have to look at where I make the most impact and focus all of my energy there. So where do you make the most impact? And I want to know in the comments where you make the most impact. I had some um, email responses yesterday when the Starfish story went out that somebody was taking a couple boxes of gloves to a client, and that's how they're, it's a existing client. It's not like they're doing it for prospecting. It's an existing client, and they're just doing it because they have access to these gloves, and they're doing it to make a difference. And that's so incredible and so amazing. I had somebody else say, like, treat others as you want to be treated. And what's funny for me is that I kind of align with the treat yourself as you want to be treated, because I think there's such this external focus on, who we are showing up in the world as, and like how we treat others and all of that. And that's so important. But you need to make sure that you're checking in with yourself and your self-awareness, whether it's your biases, whether it's your prejudices, whether it's your, tension levels, your stress levels. All of those kinds of things can impact the difference that you're making, and they can impact how you're showing up in the world. And so before you start asking what you're going to do for others, ask, how can I treat myself so that I have better energy to be able to go and do what I need to do. So, love to know in the comments your thoughts. Same thing with you, Instagram. And also, if we haven't already connected through Starfish Stories, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to add you to our Starfish Stories. If you need to talk, message me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I will be there as soon as possible. You can always grab time on my calendar on the website. And I just want to thank you for making the world a better place.